Welcome to the Hello Hornets podcast, an official podcast of the Mansfield Public Schools. The first guest in the series will be Superintendent Teresa Murphy, who will introduce the podcast as well as some of the highlights district-wide that the Mansfield school community can look forward to this year. You can listen to this episode and all future episodes in the series by logging on to mansfieldschoolnews.com/podcast or following the Mansfield Public Schools on Facebook or Twitter. Here is Superintendent Teresa Murphy. Superintendent Murphy, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to start maybe just by talking about what this podcast series is and why you guys are interested in doing it?
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. The podcast was a terrific idea, and I thought it would be a fantastic way for us to kick off the new school year. It will give us a chance to highlight some of the different schools and departments and programs that we have to offer. And I thought it would be wonderful for families and students to be able to hear of some of the new programs, new initiatives that we are bringing on during the school year.
And we're going to be talking to a lot of individuals, people from the schools about the programs that they do and sort of their areas of expertise. But can you give sort of an overview district-wide about what this school year has in store?
I'm really excited about this school year. I think after the last 17 or 18 months where we had COVID had definitely impacted our 2 school years, that we're going into the 21-22 school year in a more normalized environment. And yes, we are still feeling the effects of COVID, but I believe that we will be successful in meeting our goal of having our students and staff back full-time every day, certainly helping our students regain some of that lost time that they had during the past 2 years, but also fully involved with our extracurricular activities, our athletics, our performing arts, our visual arts, and allowing the students to have the opportunities of clubs and activities, allowing them to have the opportunity for the after-school help, which we were unable to provide during the past 2 years. And so I am very excited about where we are and where we're going. It's interesting. We had a number of teachers who changed their positions, became, for example, math specialists, or went back into the classroom to teach from another type of teaching role. And to me, that's a sign of a very healthy school district, that we have our teachers who, I would say after the past 2 years, some may just want to hunker down, but they are so happy and excited and energized that they are, in many cases, taking on new positions and new roles. And so you'll see some familiar faces, but in different positions this year. So that to me is a sign of a very healthy school district. We are very excited about a construction project that went on in 4 of our schools. Our campus schools will now have different visitor welcome centers. It will vary from school to school, so the school principals will be making sure that everyone involved knows how to access our buildings, but we have what we're calling the security check-in stations. And it's a project that has been multi-year. It is a capital improvement plan funded project. So it is taxpayers in our town who have supported this completely for us. And it is going to add to the safety and security of our schools in such a way that I believe that people will still recognize that we're very hospitable and welcoming to all of our visitors. Something else that's happening that we're very proud of this year is our equity audit. This was a study that we had begun to look into prior to COVID. However, COVID definitely put a little bit of, I would say, the brakes on the project. But the Mansfield Public Schools has contracted with a local company, Mass Insight, and they will be performing an equity audit. And what we're looking at is issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how we as a school system are able to provide all of those values to everyone. There'll be surveys that we'll ask our students and our staff and our families and community to complete. We'll be holding focus groups. This is a year-long study that will be taking place. We're very excited. I certainly hope that Mass Insight is able to identify a lot of what I believe we've been doing very well, progress we've made in the area of DEI over the last few years, but also be able to show us areas where we can improve, because we are a continuous learning district. So that we're very excited about. One other implementation that will be taking place this year, maybe not quite as exciting as some of the other items I mentioned, but we have taken on a new data and assessment system in the area of teaching and learning. And it will be a way for us to be able to track the data and be able to provide support to students based on the data and assessments that we complete. So there's a lot of very new and exciting initiatives and programs that we're taking on district-wide.
It seems like the common theme of all of those is that, the district is always trying to grow and be better and do better, by the students. What was that, keeping that up during, COVID? It seems like, there is a real commitment there about, no matter what, always putting the students first and trying to grow as a district.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think that what we saw during COVID was really remarkable, in my opinion, in terms of what we were able to do for students and their families. And I know that, everyone has different opinions about what is the right way to do things and so forth. I totally agree that the idea of remote learning or hybrid learning is not the ideal. Schools are meant to be in person. Learning is a very social activity. And so definitely, the ideal is for our students to be where they're going to be this year, and that is in the building. But I have to say that our teachers and our staff did do a remarkable job of supporting students during the past 18 months. For example, I use our technology plan. We had a 3-year technology plan that March of 2020, although we were in year 1 of the plan, we immediately, within 10 days, turned that around, and we made sure that every student had a computer in their hands to be able to get their learning done. We also immediately were able to start working with our teachers to provide the professional development that they needed so that they would be able to learn to teach remotely, because it was different for everyone. It was all new. And so yes, I would totally agree that we have shown a growth mindset within our district, that we wanted to do right by students. And as an employer, we've wanted to do right by our teachers and our staff. They do a wonderful, hardworking, they're passionate about their students and their job. And so we want to do right by them also.
And it seems like from the things that you've mentioned, there also needs to be a buy-in from the community, parents and family. What would you say the relationship that you guys have with greater Mansfield community is?
We are very fortunate. In fact, I've had a number of new teachers who I've hired this spring and summer, and they have asked that question. And my answer has always been that we do have what I believe is strong partnerships with families, whether it be, and I hesitate to name too many groups because I will miss some, but, MISA is our elementary parent group. We have our special ed PAC. We have the middle school PAC, which is the Parent Advisory Council. We have the Boosters Club at the high school, the All Sports Booster Club, the Gridiron Club. We have the band parents. We have a high school parent group, and on and on. They have been tremendous supports throughout, whether it be financially, spirit-wise, providing materials for us. They are tremendous supports, but also just the greater Mansfield community. I feel that we are fortunate that, for example, during COVID, when our food service was delivering so many meals to students, breakfast and lunches to students, we had individuals who came through and donated funds for that. We hadn't asked for that. It's something that they did. Parents are always supportive in terms of participation in our parent conferences, our any of the team meetings that are being held for students. We had, anytime we ask parents to support our students, they are right there for us. And they are also very vocal in terms of telling us when we're doing something well and when they'd like us pivoting and going in a different direction.
Well, if you can, sort of sum up your expectations for this year, what would your message be to the district community about this year?
I am so excited about the upcoming year, and I hope that my excitement translates to that of all of the community. I think there still may be I know there will be some students who are a little hesitant or nervous about returning to school if they haven't been here in a year. Certainly the fact that we had the vast majority of our students back from the spring through the end of the school year, I think that really helped them make that transition back to school. I want parents and guardians to know that we will continue with mitigation strategies because COVID is not finished yet. And we will be working to make sure that students and staff are protected while also being able to remain in school so that we can fully educate them. And the Mansfield Public Schools has always looked at the whole child. So not just the academics, but all of the different facets that make up a wonderful educational environment for students.